Hey, what's up, everybody? Gaming Hearts 1 here. Today I'm going to talk a little bit briefly about Luigi's Mansion 3 and whether or not this game deserves a sequel. And honestly, I don't think that's really a much of a question because everybody knows we're going to get a sequel for this game. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. But October 31st is going to be the 3-year anniversary of the game. Because the game came out back in 2019, and ever since its release, it exceeded a lot of people's expectations in terms of commercial success and how many copies it actually sold, because I believe it reached over 11 million copies sold on the Switch console worldwide. I believe it surpassed the Dark Moon game that came out back in, I believe it was in 2013, sometime in the early teens, and I believe the Dark Moon game may have been for like the Nintendo 3DS, and that game was also a big commercial success, and it reached over 6 million in terms of sales. But you gotta look at how long it took for us to get a sequel to the original Luigi's Mansion game from 2001. Now, and if you look at Luigi's Mansion 1 from GameCube and Dark Moon, it was like 12 years in between, between when both games came out. And then you look at this game and the Dark Moon game. I believe we had to wait 6 years for a sequel. So if we do get a sequel for Luigi's Mansion 3, it's going to be like years from now, probably when Nintendo released their next-gen game system. And Luigi's Mansion 3, in my opinion, is the best of the three. The very first Luigi's Mansion game was iconic because it was the very first installment. The first Luigi's Mansion game from '01 was like really the first major game where Luigi, I guess, broke out and became a major name or a major player as far as having his own single player game where he's like the main character, because for the most part he's been in Mario's shadow, and even for like the past decade or two, like Luigi for the most part has been in Mario's shadow, because obviously Mario's games obviously attract more casuals because he's been a bigger name than Luigi for so long. And I feel like Luigi's Mansion 3, as popular as it was definitely overshadowed by Super Mario Odyssey, which came out back in 2017. And a lot of people are still playing that game to this day. They're still waiting for a Super Mario Odyssey 2 as well. And I do feel that Luigi's Mansion 3 is definitely one of the more intriguing games, because it's doing something with Luigi that Nintendo is not really doing with Mario, because Mario is mainly like kid-friendly and all that stuff. Luigi's games has like a darker theme and tone to it, and it's a kind of ghoulish, but at the same time, it's not something that would be inappropriate for children or anything like that. It's kind of like I don't know. I get Ghostbuster vibes from Luigi's Mansion 3, and I'm not exactly sure like when the series started if that was the original intent of the series, but it's pretty cool how they got something ghoulish, but at the same time something that mainly appeals to children and casuals, and they made it work. I mean, if you take the cutscenes from this game alone, you can it would make a pretty good movie, despite the fact that there's hardly any voice acting except for uh-oh or or okie dokie or whatever, just certain phrases. And then, the dialogue in the game is not too bad. In fact, like a cutscene movie of Luigi's Mansion 3 is probably better than anything you'd see on Nickelodeon or Disney nowadays. But at the same time, I do feel that Luigi's Mansion 3, like if it had its own movie just based off of the story, it could be a great movie that would attract people. But at the same time, Luigi's not necessarily as big as a name as Mario. And speaking of which, in terms of movies, we're still looking forward to the Super Mario movie that's supposed to be released sometime, and I believe it's in April 2023. That's going to be a thing. A lot of people are looking forward to seeing that. And as it currently stands with the Mario series altogether, Nintendo has a lot of momentum, and there are a lot of things that people are waiting to see from Nintendo in the future. But as far as Luigi's Mansion is concerned, it's going to be a while before we get Luigi's Mansion 4, but I'm almost positive it's going to happen because Luigi Mansion 3 is too popular for it to not have a sequel.